I still remember the day she said it. It was a gray Tuesday morning, the kind where the sky hangs heavy, and even the coffee seems bitter. My wife, Nadia, had just come back from her gym session, dressed in her usual athletic chic, glowing and energetic. I was folding laundry in the corner of our bedroom, thinking about work, bills, and the mundane responsibilities that defined my life. Then she said it, casually, almost laughing. "You know, you're really just a co-parent now. Don't stress too much about me." I froze. My hands, still holding the folded shirts, felt heavy. My stomach twisted. Co-parent. That was it? After 15 years of marriage, after 2 children, after everything, I was nothing more than someone who shared parental duties. I tried to respond, tried to argue, tried to remind her of the life we had built, the sacrifices, the nights we stayed up with sick kids, the weekends we spent moving furniture or decorating rooms. But she waved it off, laughing, moving to the kitchen as if it were a joke. And in that moment, something inside me snapped. Not violently, not angrily, but indifferently. I realized that I had spent years bending, accommodating, trying to make her happy. And for what? Respect? Partnership? Love? Gone. I decided then that if she saw me as just a co-parent, I would stop investing in anything else. I would be present for the children, of course. But beyond that, I would disappear from her life emotionally, mentally, and even socially. The next week, I started subtly withdrawing. I stopped texting her during the day, stopped asking how her work was going, stopped trying to make conversation beyond the children's schedules. I stopped doing the small things I had done automatically for years. Making her coffee in the morning, leaving little notes, checking in on her. I became polite, neutral, distant. At first, she didn't notice. Or maybe she assumed I was busy. I didn't react when she tried to provoke me with passive-aggressive comments about my detachment or lack of involvement. I simply continued my quiet indifference. Then, one evening, she tried to engage me in an argument about finances. Normally, this would have led to a long, drawn-out battle, but I simply nodded, gave one-sentence responses, and excused myself. Her eyes widened. The sharp retorts she had come to expect from me were gone. The fire she thought she could ignite had nothing to burn. Over the next few weeks, the effect intensified. I was courteous but distant at dinner. I helped with the children without commentary. I listened but didn't engage. I maintained the house, the routines, the responsibilities, but I offered nothing beyond that. And then she noticed. The first time she tried to pull me into a conversation, I simply smiled and said, "I'm fine." That one sentence, neutral and unwavering, unnerved her. She was used to reactions, anger, defense, debate. Indifference was a weapon she couldn't comprehend. She began testing me, little jabs, casual insults, comparisons to men she said were more attentive or present. I didn't react. I let the words float past, unanswered, harmless to me. The anger and frustration in her eyes grew every day. It was subtle, psychological, and devastating. She realized she could no longer manipulate, provoke, or dominate me. I had removed myself entirely from the battlefield she had created. She had expected me to fight, to care about her opinion, to react. I didn't. Within a month, she started reaching out, cautiously, trying to draw me in again. I remained polite, but unmoved. The spark of urgency, the panic, the realization that she had lost control, that was the point. She had always thrived on power and emotional dominance. By becoming indifferent, I had taken it away. The final blow came unexpectedly. One evening, she tried to enlist me in a discussion about her new social life, her weekend plans, and a man she had been casually seeing. I simply said, "I hope you have a good time," and left the room. She froze, realizing I wasn't going to engage, criticize, or judge. Weeks later, the tension became unbearable for her. She confronted me, finally asking, "Why are you like this?" I looked her in the eyes and said, softly, firmly, and calmly, "You called me a co-parent. That's all I am now. I don't have energy to be anything else for someone who doesn't see me as a partner." She couldn't argue. She couldn't manipulate. For the first time in years, she was powerless to affect my emotions. Over time, this indifference changed the dynamic of our home. She became quieter, more thoughtful, sometimes even apologetic. I didn't gloat, didn't mock, didn't celebrate. I simply existed in my calm, unwavering bubble of autonomy. I realized that revenge doesn't always have to be dramatic. Sometimes, the most powerful response is quiet, calculated, and complete detachment. The loss of attention, the withdrawal of emotional energy, and the refusal to participate in manipulation is a force far more unsettling than confrontation or rage. In the end, she noticed, painfully, clearly, and without room for argument, and that was enough. Because when someone tries to define you as less than you are, the strongest response isn't anger, it's indifference. And in that indifference, I reclaimed my power.